evening, baseball fans. How you doing? Welcome to another week of Power Rankings. We took a week off because I thought I was going to just disintegrate in my bed because of how sick I was. My goodness, I am so glad that is over. But we got a lot of baseball to talk about. The Cardinals are absolutely red hot. The Blue Jays are ice cold. The Orioles are just so much fun to watch. The Dodgers, they got a lot of injuries right now. We're going to talk about that. My Red Sox are winning some series lately. We got a shakeup here in the top 10. We got some teams moving around. Let's see which teams go up. Let's see which teams go down. We also got some news on the Tampa Bay Rays and a possible new stadium. Could the Rays have a possible buyer? Let's get to it. Baseball fans, how you doing? Hello. Right around 150 people to start things off. How you doing, everyone? Welcome back to Power Rankings. We were gone last week, and I had probably the worst stomach bug I've ever had in my entire life. It was awful. I tried to do the Power Rankings last week. I tried to will myself to get on this computer at my desk and talk about my power rankings, and I just couldn't do it. I had no strength. I had no energy. I couldn't do it at all. So here we are. We took a week break, so we got a couple of weeks, I guess, to really cover. But we got some teams moving up. We got some teams moving down, and pretty interesting. I'm going to be honest here. My power rankings might look a little odd in a couple of spots here because honestly, I've been kind of thinking about this season. This season has been kind of just weird. Like the National League just feels so crammed right now as a whole. I think the scheduling, the difference in scheduling has made a bit of a difference. Obviously, the new rules and whatnot. It just feels like a more even playing field among the entire league. It's just a very odd season, honestly. And you got some teams out there that are putting up good numbers, whether it's offensively, pitching, whatever. But maybe their record isn't really showing it. And then you're having it the other way around, too, where teams have pretty decent records, but their numbers just don't really look all that good. So it's just a very odd season so far. We're not very deep into it. I'm thinking as time goes by, we're going to start seeing some more separation. But it's just really interesting when I'm looking at all my numbers. In case you don't know how I do my power rankings, I basically weigh a whole bunch of different numbers. I'm looking at a few different offensive numbers. I'm even looking at base running. I'm looking at a few different pitching statistics. I'm looking at defense as well. So I'm not kind of really just going by feel completely. I'm definitely weighing the numbers very heavily, but I'm also going with a bit of a personal feel at the same time. So that's how I do my power rankings, in case you aren't quite sure. But we got a lot of familiar faces here in the chat. We got our moderators here. Nicholas, how you doing? We got some members here in the chat. I'm seeing NJ Fuentes, Respector, how you doing? Mason R, how you doing, my friend? Hello. Who else we got in here? Man, oh man. Wonder Davey is here, another member. C-Raz951, how you doing, my friend? How you doing? But everyone, thank you for stopping by. I've honestly kind of missed doing the power rankings. I was really excited to do them last week, getting off of work last Friday and thinking, all right, cool. We're really starting to get into the groove of the power rankings now. And then all of a sudden, I was in the fetal position in my bed for about 4 days. So here we are. But We've had a good day of baseball today. Fun baseball today. My Red Sox didn't look so good against an old friend in Michael Wacha, but winning the series, I'll take that over over anything. As long as we're winning series, that's what makes me happy. Even the Red Sox made some roster moves in the last couple of days. My goodness, will they be making more roster moves coming up? The Mets are starting to play well. The Cardinals are just hellacious right now. I mean, my goodness, it's funny seeing how well they're playing, and then you go look at their record, and they're still like 6 games under 500, and it's like, wait, what? That's just how bad they got off. The start was they got off to this year. Also, I'm really green tonight. I didn't realize this. This is my the Armed Forces hat. I picked one up for the Red Sox Armed Forces hat, and I kind of just realized, man, I kind of look like a leprechaun tonight. So hey, Robbie the Leprechaun doing the power rankings for all of you. Anyway, enough of me rambling here. Let's get to it. Real quick, just going over a couple of sponsors. Presenting tonight's power rankings is Sorare MLB. Honestly, my favorite way to play fantasy baseball right now. And no, I'm not just saying that because it's a sponsor of the channel. I've actually been enjoying playing it. I've been playing fantasy baseball for years, and fantasy baseball feels like the same old every single year. This is a different way to play. It's a different challenge. Click the link down below in the description to get started. It's completely free to play. I haven't spent $1 playing Sorare at all. And I've been playing pretty well lately, so you do not need at all to spend any money to go have yourself a good time and to go have yourself a good team. Stay until before I get into the top 10 of the power rankings tonight. I will go over how my team did, and I'll go over how you can get started, as well as a way for you to join a private league, which is my own league, and you'll get to be able to play against me instead of just, playing against the thousands of people that are playing Sorare. You'll be able to be in my own league, so stay tuned for that. Before I get into the top 10, I will discuss that. Also sponsoring tonight's show, we have BetOnline, your number one source for all your sports betting needs. We got the NBA Finals coming up. We got the Stanley Cup Finals coming up. Obviously, we have baseball season, UFC, whatever it is. Go check out BetOnline. Use the code BLEAV, B-L-E-A-V. You get a 50% welcome bonus. And if you are going to a game this year, please take advantage of my code. There's no reason not to. SeatGeek, you'll always be able to find a pretty decent deal. I've used it myself. Use my code Hyde. You end up getting $20 off on your first purchase. So, all right, everyone, let's get to it. So, like I said, it's been a couple of weeks, and it's definitely, when I'm looking at the rankings from a couple of weeks ago to now, there's definitely some movement, and we got a couple new teams in the top 10, so stay tuned for that. But let's get to it here. So if you're not familiar with how I'm doing my power rankings, I'm going from number 30 all the way to number 1. So grab your popcorn, grab your potato chips, grab whatever you're sipping on, whether that's, I don't know, water, mango juice, whatever the heck it is. Just drink responsibly. But here we go. Number 30. We have the Oakland A's. Hey, Oakland, it's a miserable season. There's not really anything going on here. Losing 2 out of 3 of the Diamondbacks. They got swept by the Astros. They are on pace to win a whopping 34 games. My goodness. Unbelievable. The Oakland A's, everyone. The Oakland A's. Soon to be the Las Vegas A's. Will they be the Las Vegas A's? Will they change the name completely? Will this season be so embarrassing that they'll have to just change the name Athletics completely? Oh, you know what I forgot to do, everyone? You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put the music on. Of course I forgot to put the music on. My goodness. Here we go. All righty. Okay, here we go. So, back to it here. At number 29, we got the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies statistically this year, they're just really bad. The A's are obviously very bad statistically. The Rockies are not very good either, man. But Elias Diaz, he has been hitting okay lately. As for the Rockies, they won 2 out of 3 against the Reds, but they got swept by the Rangers this past weekend. They got absolutely shellacked by the Rangers this past weekend. Oh my goodness. The Rangers were having just a ball against the Colorado Rockies this weekend. I will also point out too, Chase Anderson has actually been playing pretty well. He's been pitching pretty well for the Rockies. Not really a whole lot of innings, but I mean, I'm trying to find something positive to talk about with the Rockies. So, hey, Chase Anderson, you get the shout out. At number 28, we got... Oh, nope, that's number 27. See, I already figured something. I already found a way to ruin this. Who do I got at number 28? What is going on here? Oh, the White Sox I had at number 28. Apologies. So here we go. The White Sox at 28. They did, honestly, no. I think I had the White Sox up higher. Here we go. We're going to make the switch. I just forgot to do this before the stream. Hey, give me a break here. I had a week off, all right? I'm a little rusty. Nope. What in the world is going on? My goodness. Streamlabs, you're killing me. I'm live. There we go. We made the switch. At number 28, we have the Royals. Now, they got swept by the White Sox this week. It's just not a good week for the Kansas City Royals. Vinny Pasquantino's having himself a decent season. He's hitting .257, a .342 on base, .469 slugging. He's got 8 home runs. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot to talk about the Royals. However, it's been a little bit since this happened, but I haven't been around, so I haven't been able to talk about it. But how cool is it that Zach Greinke is the 5th player in history, the 5th pitcher in history to strike out 1,000 different hitters, the 5th different pitcher in history. It's like hilarious where these stats or these statistics that these guys find, I would have never have known that at all. The other 4 pitchers was Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux, and Roger Clemens. My goodness, Zach Greinke. He's one of the best of all time. Are you kidding me? But I thought that was really cool. I would have never have known that statistic, to be completely honest. But the fact that he's in that such small company, it just shows how good Zach Greinke has been in his career. And at number 27, we had the Chicago White Sox. They won 2 out of 3 against Cleveland, and they swept the Royals. So the White Sox, they're ahead of the Royals here because of that head-to-head matchup. Luis Robert is quietly having a good season. The White Sox obviously are just not playing well this year, but Luis Robert, he's having a good season. He's hitting .269, a .326 on base, a .566 slugging, 13 homers, 29 RBIs. Good season for Luis Robert. We've been waiting for a good season from him, and unfortunately, it's coming during a time where the White Sox are just not playing good baseball. But they did play better this past week, so give them credit there. Jake Berger, he's been hot lately. As for the pitching staff, Mike Clevinger heading to the IL. He's got some wrist inflammation. There's still time for the White Sox to really figure this out. I think they're 10 games under 500 now. If they can just slowly but surely win series, who knows? Maybe they're a few games under 500 at one point. That AL Central is pretty wide open in my honest opinion. I still think there is a chance for the White Sox, but I would say it's more likely that they're going to end up falling out of it. But we'll see. We saw the Cardinals get red hot, and they just look like a completely different team. So coming in at number 26, we got the Cincinnati Reds. Interesting game for the Reds today. I'll talk more about that when I get to the Yankees. But David Bell, he did get tossed in this one later on in today's game. But as for the week, lost 2 out of 3 to the Rockies. They got swept by the Yankees. The Reds, they were looking like a pretty fun team there for a little bit, but they're kind of starting to come back down to earth. I do think I'm starting to, in my opinion, I think the Reds, they will be my team next year. That I think that could be a surprise team next year. Kind of like where, we've seen the Guardians last year. We've seen the Diamondbacks really take a step forward this year. I think the Reds next year could be a pretty decent team. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. As for the offense, Jake Fraley, he has been hitting well. Last 7 hitting .304 with a .407 on base. Not too shabby if you ask me. Over the last 15, Jake Fraley has a .571 slugging. That's not bad at all. Brandon Williamson actually made his first start against the Rockies this past weekend. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 earned, 6 strikeouts. Not a bad debut. One of their top pitching prospects. They got him back in a trade over the last couple of years. Brandon Williamson. And Joey Votto. We got some Joey Votto news. He took some BP today with the AAA team. So maybe Joey Votto could be getting close to returning to Cincinnati. At number 25, we got Nope, that's at number 24. My goodness, I'm messing stuff up everywhere here. So who did I have at number 25? We had the Nationals. Here we go. I knew I forgot to do something. But at number 25, the Nationals, they had a decent week. They won 2 out of 3. And this is why I wanted to put I wanted to switch this around because, hold on a second. Let's move these guys around. Everyone, I apologize. Technical difficulties. No, the Tigers, the Nationals won the head-to-head matchup. So I'm putting the Nationals ahead of the Tigers. So the Nationals, they have quietly been kind of like not a great team, but they're not bad either. Like there's some decent parts of this team. I love Mackenzie Gore, Josiah Gray, and the pitching staff. Jeimer Candelario has been red hot. Like, has anyone realized how good this guy's been lately? Over the last 7, he's hitting .571 with a .586 on base, a 1,000 slugging, 2 homers. Jeimer Candelario, could this be a guy that ends up becoming trade bait at the deadline? I mean, why not? You could probably end up getting a couple of pieces for him. So he's been really good. As for the Tigers, they were looking. It's funny with the Tigers. They're still. Again, you're in that AL Central, so you're really just kind of hanging around. But not a great week for the Tigers. They split with the Pirates. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Nationals. Eduardo Rodriguez continues to be one of the best pitchers in the game. I'm going to be honest with you, though. I see a lot of people suggesting Eduardo Rodriguez trades. I'm not quite there yet to say that he's going to be a for sure trade candidate. I know he has an opt-out. I get that. And he's having a good season, so maybe he'll want to go back out onto the market. But, man, he'll have 3 more years left on that deal. It's going to be interesting. I wonder. I wonder if the Tigers will actually trade him, because the Tigers, they want to compete. To me, it's like if you're selling off Eduardo Rodriguez, trading him away, I don't know. It kind of just sets you back even more. I would want to hang on to the guy, to be completely honest. So I think the Tigers, honestly, at least in my personal opinion right now, I think they're going to hang on to him. I don't see really a need to really trade him. And again, the opt-out, I say take care of the opt-out when that time comes, but don't just trade him because he has an opt-out, but that can also reduce his value as well. So I don't know. I'm not really sold that Eduardo Rodriguez is going to be a trade candidate in the next couple of months. Until I see it, I'll believe it. But coming in at number 23, this Guardians team, man. I don't know what to make of this Guardians team. Coming into this year, I saw like a good team with the Guardians. I just wasn't quite sure if they could replicate that success. They did make a couple of decent signings, but that offense has really, really underperformed this year. Josh Naylor's been hot lately. My goodness, over the last 7, Naylor's been hitting .346, a .393 on base, and .808 slugging, 4 homers, 12 RBIs. Josh Naylor's red hot. Jose Ramirez today, home run against the Mets. It looked like maybe the Guardians had a comeback win there today. And in the end, the Mets, they came up with the big home run from Starling Marte. But I don't know. The Guardians, they're just not really, I don't know. They're just not really that fun team that we saw last year. They're just kind of sluggish. I don't know. They're getting some decent pitching, but that bullpen is not the same bullpen that we saw last year. It's a stagnant bullpen. Karinchak has been really bad. Speaking of Karinchak, I had him in my last video that I posted yesterday. That video is actually doing pretty well. So thank you if you did watch that video. They're my biggest busts so far this year. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But I had Karinchak on that list. I think he's been a huge bust because this is a guy who's been a dominant reliever. He's been a fun reliever to watch. Had a good season last year. He's had a very up and down career. So hopefully Karinchak can get himself back on track, kind of stabilize that bullpen a little bit. So speaking of teams that are off to just really bad starts, oh my goodness. Oh, well, I am just really goofing up on this bottom 10, man. I don't know what the heck I'm doing here. 22, we got the Giants, and at 21, we got the Padres. Let me talk about the Giants here real quick. They did sweep the Phillies, and they won 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. But man, honestly, do I want to make this switch? I feel like I should probably make the switch. I think the Giants right now, yeah, I'm just goofing up everywhere here, everyone. I promise you the rest. I think I just forgot to kind of switch around this last one. Yeah, I had the Padres at 22. And then we got the Giants at 21. Goodness. I'm sorry, everyone. Man, I am rusty today. We are rusty. This is what happens when you take a week off of Power Rankings. We got a super chat coming in. Jacob Tobin, $1.99. I feel my Twins should at least be 6 or 7 games up right now. It's kind of weird, right, how they're not running away with that division, especially with how bad these teams have been in this division. I agree with you. I think the Twins are actually a very good team. They're just not really running away with it. So we'll have to see what happens. Jacob, thank you so much. But let's talk about the Padres. I just saw the Padres this past weekend. They won today. Michael Wacha looked great today for the Padres. Rougned Odor came up with a big hit today. But the Padres, they're looking really bad. Again, they won today, but they've lost their last 5 series. They lost 11. They have lost 11 out of their last 15. That's really bad. Again, losing 2 out of 3 to the Red Sox. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Royals this week. Again, they haven't won a series since the beginning of the month, I believe. It's just been, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about this Padres team. It's really bad. Machado, he's now got a fractured hand. So hopefully he's not going to be out too long. Luckily, Soto is hitting well lately. He had a couple of hits today. The bullpen has been really good. Third in Fangraph WAR over the last 7 days. So the Padres bullpen is performing. They're just not getting consistency from offense, from starting pitching. It's just a weird team. Like, I do think they are going to heat up eventually. I think they're going to get on track. I think they will end up getting hot at some point. There's too much talent on this team. I don't know, man. I'm starting to think, is Fernando Tatis Jr. just cursing this team? I mean, I'm sorry. Like, they were completely fine without him last year. Like, he's come back, and I don't know. I don't know what to say. It's like, it's just a really, really weird situation. I'm not sure what it is. Guys are just not performing. It's weird because they feel like they have so much talent, but they also just feel like so empty at the same time. Like, they look good today. I mean, but just this past weekend, the pitching not coming up in spots, like Rafael Devers with a couple of home runs the other night. I don't know. Just not really coming up with the big hits. I don't know. I think this is a team that it's amazing when you look at the payroll and you look at the roster and they're just this bad. Like, luckily for them, Wacha came up to play, or he showed up to play today. Why can't the Red Sox hang on to what Michael Wacha? Man, why can't we have guys like that? My goodness. Heim, you brought in Corey Kluber instead of Michael Wacha. No, I understand why the move was made. It was more of an analytical move, in my opinion. I think the Red Sox, Michael Wacha got helped out a lot last year by the shift. So my guess is Bloom probably thought that Wacha was going to regress. But no, he has really figured it out. Man, give it up to Michael Wacha. He's been a bright spot on that team. Yeah, Bogarts, he went hitless against the Red Sox this weekend. It was pretty cool to kind of just see, Bogarts and the Red Sox on the same field. But these Padres, they got to figure it out. But at 21, we got the Giants. They had a pretty decent week. They swept the Phillies. They won 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. Logan Webb has been so good. I love Logan Webb. He's one of my favorite pitchers in the game. Over his last 3 starts, 20 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. Logan Webb, absolutely fantastic. I love that guy. And the Giants, believe it or not, the one category that the Giants are really good in is starting pitching. And the one category that they rank really high in is Sierra. They're 6th in Sierra. So the Giants, they got the starting pitching. The bullpen needs a little work. I think they need some bats. I'm not quite sure about the Giants this year. I still think they're probably another year or two away from like really competing. You know, Casey Schmidt has been great for them, but I don't know. I don't know about the Giants, but hey, they had themselves a good week. Moving on to 20 through 11. Here we go. So at number 20, hopefully we do not goof this up. You know, I'm gonna check this real quick to make sure I didn't make any goofs. Let me make sure here. Make sure. Got that. I made a lot of mistakes there in the first one. My goodness. And we got the Mariners. All right, I think we're okay. All right, I think we're mistake free on this part of the power rankings. Okay, we're mistake free. Here we go. So coming in at number 20, this is a team. You know, in the intro, I was talking about how there are teams that rank really well statistically, like whether it's offense, pitching, you know, even base running, but the record isn't really quite there. And one of those teams are the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs are a really interesting team. They're 6th in WRC plus, which is, in my opinion, probably the best offensive statistic out there. 8th in FIP, but they're not having the wins. Like, it's just, I don't know. They're just not winning games. The problem, I think, with the Cubs, and Cubs fans, let me know what you think down below in the chat. Let me know in the comments after the stream. Do you think I think personally, let me know if you agree or not. I think it's the bullpen. I think the bullpen has been really bad. The Cubs are really bad in one-run games. They're 2-10 in one-run games. They're really bad in these close ones. They can't come up with the big hits. I think the bullpen, they're not really coming up big when they need them to. The bullpen, they're 23rd in ERA. So they do better when it comes to FIP and XFIP, but when it comes to simply just ERA, keeping the runs off the board, it's been a bit of a problem for the Cubs bullpen. They were swept by the Astros this week. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Phillies. I don't know. The Cubs, again, they rank well statistically. They have a good offense, right? They got some good pitching. Justin Steele looked good today against the Phillies, you know? But they're just not getting the wins. They were getting the wins in the beginning of the year, but I don't know. This Cubs team, they're better than what their record shows you. So Suzuki, Morel, they've been hot lately. Morel's been hitting a ton of homers, man. He's been really hot. Like I said, Steele looked good. We actually have some news. Eric Hosmer was DFA'd by the Cubs. So who knows what ends up happening with Eric Hosmer, man. Who knows? But the Cubs, let's see if they can start putting some wins on the board. Coming in at number 19, we got the Phillies. They were swept by the Giants, but then they bounced back. They won 2 out of 3 against the Cubs. Bryson Stott, clutch pinch hit home run today in the 7th inning for the Phillies. They needed that. But the Phillies, their strength this year has been pitching. They're 3rd in Fangraph WAR when it comes to starting pitching. The bullpen, they're 8th overall. Craig Kimbrell has actually been pitching pretty well. He gave up a run today. He gave up the home run to Morel, I believe. But he has been pretty good lately. I think he's actually approaching 400 saves, kind of just like what Kenley Jansen got recently. But coming into today, his last 4 outings, Craig Kimbrell, he had 4 innings pitched, and he had 10 strikeouts over those 4 innings. Like, that is, like, nutty. Kimbrell has been on another level lately. But the Phillies, you know, they're just, the wins aren't there right now. I don't know. The offense has been really stagnant lately. I mean, if we were to take a look here at the standings, let's go to the standings. So right now you're looking at 22 and 24. They're not playing bad lately. They're just, I don't think they've reached their full potential. You know, they're 7 out in the division, but they're going to be right there in the wild card picture until the end. But again, like, this National League is really cramped right now. I mean, the worst team in the National League right now is 5.5 games back in the wild card. Like that, I mean, I'm not saying the Rockies are going to, you know, win a wild card spot, but that's not really far, man. This National League has been really weird this year. You know, you got the Braves who have been really good. The Dodgers have been really good. The Diamondbacks have been solid. But other than that, you don't really have a whole lot of clear-cut like favorites right now, really, besides the Braves and the Dodgers and maybe the Diamondbacks. But I think the Diamondbacks are a tier below teams like the Dodgers and the Braves. So the National League, very weird league. So, but here we go. Back to it. Nope, that's the wrong one. There we go. At number 18, we got the Miami Marlins. Now, the Marlins, here's another really weird team. I think I want to do a video on the Miami Marlins because this team is very odd. It's like, I don't understand this team, to be completely honest with you. Now, if I were to go back, so right now, the Marlins, they're 24-23. They're a half game behind a wild card spot right now. They were in second place not too long ago. The one thing about the Marlins, they are so good in one-run games. They are, I'm going to go back to the screen. They are 15-2 in one-run games. They're like almost unbeatable in these close games. It's crazy. I talked about this the other night. They're just a very odd team. They don't rank very well, when it comes to the big numbers like offense. They are getting some pretty good pitching. I will say that about the Miami Marlins. Uri Perez, he's looked pretty solid since coming up. 9 2/3 innings pitched. He struck out 13 guys. ERA of at 2.79. Braxton Garrett, he's been really good. Jesus Luzardo's been really solid. Sandy Alcantara, it's funny. In the video that I did yesterday on biggest busts so far this year, I had a few people comment Sandy Alcantara. His ERA is high. It's above a 5, but his FIP is in the mid-3s. So don't worry about Sandy Alcantara so much. He's pitching better than what that ERA looks like. So, but the Marlins, they swept the Nationals this week, but then they lost 2 out of 3 to the Giants. So kind of an up and down week for the Marlins. The starting pitching, second in FIP in the last 7. Their bullpen is 8th, so they're pitching really well. They're just not really getting a whole lot of offense. Brian De La Cruz has been hitting pretty well over his last 7, hitting .370 with a .393 on base, a .741 slugging, 2 homers, 6 RBIs. They need these other guys in the lineup to start turning it on. I mean, Luis Arraez obviously is really good too, but man, we had Jorge Soler. I believe he homered today, or was yesterday. I can't remember. But the Marlins need more offense. This has been the story with the Marlins. I don't know, man. If they got to go with like a different coach at hitting, or they got to do something different, I don't know what's going on. These Marlins can never hit. So I don't know what's going on. At number 17, they won today. Shohei Ohtani looked good, but I have the Angels at 17. They split with the Orioles this week. They did win 2 out of 3. But the Angels, the reason this might be a little surprising to some of you. I actually did want to put them a little higher than this, but kind of just how well other teams are performing. I put the Angels behind some of those teams. But the Angels, they're 10th in WRC+, so they're definitely getting some offense. However, in FIP, over the last 7, they are only 23rd. They're not pitching very well. Ohtani did pitch well today against the Twins. 6 innings, I believe. I can't remember how many guys he struck out, but he looked really good. So Shohei Ohtani, he's fantastic. He's also hitting really well lately. 679 slugging, 3 homers over his last 7. So the Angels, they're just, I don't know. They're fading. Like, they're not really like putting together the wins. I mean, right now they're 25-23. I'm just wondering, is this going to be like a slow fade for the Angels? Last year they had a dramatic fall off, but lately they're not hot. They're kind of just there. Kind of like the Mariners, honestly. Like the Mariners are just kind of there, right? I kind of wanted to put the Angels in front of the Mariners, but the Angels don't rank as well as the Mariners do, believe it or not, in a lot of the numbers. So coming up next, we do have the Seattle Mariners. Now, the Mariners, here's the story with the Mariners. They have the best pitching in the game. Like, their pitching is so good. They're second in Fangraph WAR when it comes to starting pitching, and they're second in relief pitching. When you look at the whole they're the best. Like, the Mariners as a whole are the best pitching staff in the game, starting pitching and relief pitching. The Mariners are no joke. George Kirby, he's fantastic. I mean, this guy, I mean, my goodness. I mean, could this be a Cy Young contender here in the American League? You know, George Kirby is really good. But as to the Mariners as a team, losing 2 out of 3 to my Red Sox, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Braves. You know, it's this offense. They're only 19th in WRC+. Kelnick homer today. Cal Riley, he's been hitting really well over his last 7, 350, a 458 on base, a 750 slugging, a couple of homers. They're just not getting these guys hitting consistently. It doesn't feel like a dangerous lineup. It just I was just watching them this past week. I don't know. None of these guys were doing anything. It was just, you know, they're getting a couple of hits and whatnot, but I don't know. It's the Mariners and the Angels. They feel like the same, where they got a lot of talent, but they're just not putting the wins on the board. So I don't know. I think for the Mariners, it's simple. They need to start driving in runs. They got the pitching, but they need the offense to step up. How about, speaking of a team that's been stepping up, finally, the New York Mets are starting to hit their stride. My goodness, Wardy NYM was at the game today, and he was sitting behind home plate. Man, it was like hilarious. Like, I'm watching the game, and Wardy's just sitting right there, and I'm like, hey, look, it's Wardy right there. It's pretty funny. But the Mets had a good week. They won 2 out of 3 against the Rays. They won 2 out of 3. Well, actually, I don't know what happened I was getting ready for this stream. I didn't see the score. Oh, they won both. Yeah, so they won both games today. So did they sweep Cleveland? No, I think so they did sweep him. I can't remember how many. Was it a 4-game or 3-game series? Can't fully remember. Either way, they won the series against the Guardians. And Scherzer looked great today. Finally, Max Scherzer looked good. About time. I mean, my goodness. I mean, Verlander, you know, he got roughed up by the Rays a little bit. But the Mets are just looking really good right now. Finally. You know, I made a video to stop worrying about the Mets. There's too much talent on this team. It's too much. You know, you can't look. There's no way this team shouldn't be able to be one of the better teams in the game. Starling Marte, he homered today. Clutch home run, I believe, and that was in the bottom of the 8th inning, I believe. And that was after the Guardians had the go-ahead home run from Jose Ramirez. So Starling Marte came up clutch. I think that was his first extra base hit in over 100 plate appearances, I believe. I think I heard that stat correctly. But he's been ice cold, so that was really nice to see him get that big-time hit. The Mets as a whole still need to pitch better, but Max Scherzer, he did look good today. It was just refreshing to see Scherzer actually pitching well. He's just not had a good start to this year. I think I've said this, I think as the weather warms up, you're going to see Scherzer and Verlander. These are older men here. You know, they're not getting any younger over here. The warmer weather is going to help these guys. I think they're going to carry this pitching staff. They're slowly but surely going to get healthy. I think this Mets team is going to be completely fine. And hey, they had themselves a great week, so they move up to number 15 for me. We have broken 400 people in the chat. I love all of you. Thank you for stopping by here tonight to watch my potato face talk about some power rankings. Here we go. Coming up next. You know, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like this team. If there's one team out of these 30 teams, I don't like this one. The Milwaukee Brewers. I don't like this team. And here's why. They don't rank well in the numbers at all. They're 24th in WRC+. A lot of guys are slumping. This offense is a bottom 6 offense in the game. Their pitching is, the starting pitching has a 4.17 ERA as a whole for the whole year. And the FIP is a 4.71. I don't know. I'm not understanding this Brewers team. Like, I know they got the win today, but they lost 2 out of 3. They also lost 2 out of 3 to St. Louis this week. Man, you know, I don't know. I'm not a fan of this Brewers team. I'm really not. I don't like the numbers. Let me go over those numbers again. They're 24th in WRC plus in the last 7. As a whole, they're 22nd for the whole year. They're 26 in FIP for pitching. They're a bottom 10 offense. They're a bottom 10 pitching staff. I don't get it, but they're getting the wins. Right? I mean, here's the thing, everyone. Here's the thing. You can't really look at the standings right now. Like, I know everyone might be kind of like looking. They see the Brewers are in first place. They're 25 and 21. They have a -2 run differential. I think the Milwaukee Brewers are fool's gold. I don't think they're a good team. I honestly, I think the Pirates are a better team than the Brewers. I really do. Like, that might be a bit of a hot take. But don't just look at the standings and see Brewers are in first place and think they're just a great team. They have good players. They definitely can play better. I'm not saying they can't be a good team. But based off of what we have seen through the first 46 games, I'm not a fan of this Brewers team. I'm just not. You know, they have injuries. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just need to see some better numbers overall. I think right now they're fool's gold. I personally think that. So I could see some people jumping on me for that one, but these are my power rankings. If you don't like it, then eat my shorts. Here we go. At number 13, we got the Pittsburgh Pirates. I think the Pirates are a better team right now. They have, well, let me rephrase that a little bit. I think they're a better team than the Brewers. They're not a great team right now. They're not playing well. They got off to that really good start. And the Pirates, they're sliding for me. They're because they're obviously just losing games. There's not really much else to say. They had that red hot month of April. And then once they turn the page, once they flip the calendar to May, I don't know what's going on with this Pirates team, but they still rank pretty well when it comes to certain numbers. They rank okay offensively, and pitching wise, the Pirates are actually getting some really good pitching. It's not really translating so much to wins, but Mitch Keller right now. Mitch Keller, I got to shout out Mitch Keller, man. This guy has been absolutely fantastic. You know what? I'm going to pull up the FanGraph leaderboards here, and we're going to go take a look at Mitch Keller. He is 8th right now in FanGraph WAR. He has a 2.44 ERA, a 2.88 xERA, 2.69 FIP, a 3.00 xFIP. Look at the strikeouts to walks. 11 strikeouts per 9, 2 walks per 9. Right. The Mets at 15, that's the best they've been on these power rankings all year. I don't think they were even higher than 18 at one point. Oh, come on. You can't be serious. Come on. Their Mets are just starting to play well for the first time. Come on. Statistically, the Mets have not even looked good at all. Their pitching is almost dead last in the league. Their offense has been basically mid for the entire year. Their offense is finally starting to pick up. But come on, you can't sit here and tell me this is a terrible list because the Mets are at 15. That's the best they've been on these rankings all year. Come on, get out of here. But Mitch Keller, 11 strikeouts per 9, 2 walks per 9, under a home run per 9. I mean, this guy's awesome. I mean, he is carrying this pitching staff right now. Rich Hill, Johan Oviedo, they've been awesome too. I like the Pirates pitching staff. They have been really good, really good. So as for the Pirates themselves, the offense, it's not great. I can't fully remember where the offense is, but I think they're like 18th overall in the last 7. I'd have to double check that. But as for the Pirates, they split with the Tigers this week. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Diamondbacks. They're just not getting the wins there. I will not be surprised next week if I have the Pirates way lower than this, 'cause they're slipping. They were at one point in the early goings, they were a top 5 team for me. And once you got to May, they just completely spiraled, man. So, getting back to it here. At number 12, And I know this might be crazy. I know this one might be crazy. I can't believe that this is a weird season. It's very odd. I can't believe I am putting a team at number 12 that is, let me just double check. They are 6 games under 500, and they are number 12 for me. The St. Louis Cardinals. Listen, this Cardinals team, when they were going through that really rough patch, their numbers offensively still looked pretty good. Their defense still looked pretty good. Base running still looked pretty good. The pitching was a problem. The bullpen looked pretty good. But the starting pitching was just mayhem for the St. Louis Cardinals. This team is red hot. And I think the team that we're seeing right now, this is the St. Louis Cardinals. Now, I think they will come back down to earth a little bit. This is a really good Cardinals team. And just because they got off to a really bad start, that doesn't paint the whole picture for this Cardinals team. Everything about this team right now has been so good. And Born Calm, I see your comment. Cardinals have been better, but 12 is way too high in 1 week. Actually, it's 2 weeks. So you got to remember that as well. Last week, 2 weeks ago, because I wasn't here last week. So 2 weeks ago, I had the Cardinals at 23. And in last week's, because I didn't do the show, but I still put together my list, I think I had them at number 18. So they have moved up over the last couple of weeks. This isn't, jumping from the 20s to 12 for me personally. But I can understand that. I can totally understand why some people might think that this is a bit high for the Cardinals. I'm not looking at records, man. I am, but I'm not really fully weighing the record. You got to look past the record. You got to look at what's going on with the offense, the pitching. Again, like the Brewers, they're in first. I don't think the Brewers are going to stay there very long. I really don't. I think they're starting to come back down. They got hot there for a little bit, but then the Brewers this year they don't rank well in offensively or pitching. The Cardinals do. So let's actually go take a look at this. So taking a look at the Cardinals. Here we go. So right now, St. Louis is 4th overall. This is actually defense and offense. So let's actually just look at the offense. St. Louis is 6th overall in the offense this year. In the last 14 days, they're the number 1 offense. They have been just driving in runs left and right. They're so hot. As a team, you got to remember here, these numbers here include the entire year. My goodness. It is the fact that they have gone all the way to 6. They were high there for a little while in the beginning, but then they slumped really hard and they really started dropping off. Arenado was struggling completely. Wilson Contreras was slumping there. Not a lot of guys were hitting. They were only getting a couple of guys hitting in the lineup. Anthony Rodriguez, $5 super chat. I enjoy your show. Thanks for the good work. Anthony, I appreciate you, my friend. I appreciate you. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you, my friend. Really do appreciate that. Where was I? Oh, man. I just got the nice comment, and it just completely turned on my potato brain. Oh, the Cardinals. Here we go. Anthony, thank you so much. But let's take a look at how these Cardinals have been doing over the last 7 days. Just look at what is going on here. They're nuts. Over the last 7 days, they're hitting 278, 365 on base, a 535 slugging, 17 homers. They've driven in 54 runs over the last 7. Let's go take a look at what these guys are doing individually. It's nuts. Nolan Gorman, this guy's got to get player of the week. He has to get player of the week in the National League. My goodness. Look at these numbers. Over the last 7, he's hitting 444, a 531 on base, a 963 slugging, 4 homers, 12 RBIs. Look at Nolan Arenado. This guy's been red hot. Hitting 357, a 387 on base, 786 slugging. He's got 4 homers as well, 12 RBIs as well. Holy crap. Tommy Edman has been on fire. 529 average over his last 17 plate appearances. So, Paul Goldschmidt, I mean, his average and his slugging are a little low, but he's getting on base half the time. I mean, my goodness. These guys are hitting like crazy. Like, my goodness. Oscar Mercado, sorry. Not a whole lot of play. I think he had a pretty... What did he have today? He had a... did he have a big double today that drove in a few runs? I can't fully remember. The Cardinals, their offense is absolutely nasty right now. But let's go take a look at the pitching for the Cardinals. St. Louis, now this is a bit of a problem with St. Louis. They're going to have to address this, I think, at the deadline. They're 22nd overall in pitching, both starting pitching and relief pitching. A 4.45 ERA, 4.39 or 4.35 FIP, a 4.21 xFIP. Now remember, the starting pitching was really, really bad, right? Now it still kind of is 24th overall right now in the last 7, for the whole season. But over the last 7, it's it's definitely better here. Take a look. The starting pitching over the last 7 is 5th overall, a 1.99 ERA, a 3.72 FIP. The xFIP is a little scary at 4.60. So St. Louis, man, they're getting good pitching. They're getting good offense. The way they were playing during that slump, I'm thinking, like, what is going on with this Cardinals team? It was baffling to me, like, seeing, like, what was happening with them. Because this is a team that was a really good team last year. They had a lot of guys still on that team, still on the team from last year. You signed Wilson Contreras, and I understand they had I think the catching position was a big problem. But it looks like they've solidified that. And obviously it was getting out into the media, and it was not very well handled, but it worked. Like, it worked, and I think it helped rally the team together a little bit. Could that have been done by design? You know, Cardinals fans, let me know. Let me know. Yeah, Caden Morgan. Yeah, I've been talking about the Cardinals for 5 minutes because they're red hot. I'm just saying, man. I mean, why not talk about the Cardinals for a few minutes? They're a really good team right now, so we got to talk about the Cardinals. I think that could have been done by design. Cardinals fans, let me know what you think. Do you think they maybe put it out to the media on purpose? Maybe to kind of help bring the team together a little bit? I don't know, man. But it's a good team right now. And yeah, this might be high for some people, but I don't know. I like this team. I've always liked the Cardinals, man. They've always, like, going back for a while now, like, I've just liked how this team is put together. And this team this year coming in, I saw a pretty good team. And it was just crazy seeing what was going on. But they seem to be back on track now. At number 11, this team is the opposite right now. The Blue Jays. This Blue Jays team right now is really bad. It's not good. It's not good. They're slumping. They've lost 4 straight. Lost 3 out of 4 to the Yankees. They got swept by the Orioles this weekend. It was a fun game today with the Orioles. They had a back-and-forth game today. The Orioles ended up just exploding in extra innings there. It was a fun game. But the Blue Jays they're on a pretty rough stretch right now. Over the last 7, their offense is only 19th overall. They're 30th in FIP. The starting pitching, Kevin Gausman's looked pretty good, but Alek Manoah is struggling entirely right now. Kikuchi has not really been effective. Barrios has kind of been meh. Chris Bassett's been good. I don't like the advanced numbers very much with Chris Bassett, but the ERA has looked good with him. So he's had a good run here. He's not really giving up a whole lot of runs. I don't think he's giving up any runs, actually. Over his last, 4 starts, he hasn't given up 1 run. But Chris Bassett, I do expect that ERA to climb up at some point. The FIP and the xFIP are showing that he's maybe getting a little bit of luck. I think the BABIP against him is also really low. So I do expect his numbers to regress a little bit, but he is still getting it done. George Springer is starting to heat up a little bit, but in my opinion this year, he was looking like I actually had him in my video from yesterday. He was kind of a bust to me. I'm thinking, like, what is going on here with George Springer? He's been on and off with injuries, and this year it's like you finally, like, the lineup looks really good, and then Springer is just, like, not having a good year, but he is hitting a little better lately. Man, Kevin Kiermaier today, that guy is insane. I don't understand Kevin Kiermaier. That catch that he made today was out of his mind. Out of his mind. My goodness. Go check out that Kevin Kiermaier catch from today. That was awesome. But the Blue Jays as a whole, they're not looking good right now. I think they're going to be okay. I think they're just going through a kind of a rough stretch here. For me, they have fallen out of the top 10, but they are knocking at the door at number 11. So that's so far number 30 through 11. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to go over tonight's sponsor, and that is Sorare MLB. So, Sorare MLB, what is it? I'm going to go through this real quick. It's just another way to play fantasy baseball, but you collect cards. They're digital cards, and these cards make up your team. So, taking a look at my team from this past week, I had a pretty decent week. I'm in the tier 2. My prize that I will win is going to be a tier 2, so that's going to end up being a pretty decent card. I was in the top 500 at one point, but I just was not getting a whole lot of points from these guys today, and then other guys shot right past me. But Aaron Judge, he had a really good week. We'll talk about him in just a little bit. Chris Sale looked really good the other night. Shane McClanahan looked good. Nate Lowe, he's having a really good year. So overall, my team did do pretty good. However, I do have a reward from the first tournament this week. When you play Sorare MLB, it's 2 tournaments per week, Monday through Thursday, and then Friday through Sunday. So we got a reward. Let's check it out. Let's see what it is. It's an oak. Oh, come on. No. Oh, Shane Langley. Okay. All right. I'll take Shea Langleyers, I guess. Come on. I would have liked Brent Rooker. You couldn't give me Brent Rooker. But all right. I'll take it. But that's how my team did this past week. But everyone, this is what I really want you to look at right here. I need you in the chat. Okay? If you're in the chat right now, click the description. You're going to see a link in the description. There's 2 separate links. Actually, I don't think the link is there. Hold on, let me fix it real quick. Well, I will put the link there, but there will be a link to join my private league. So let me actually go get that real quick here. So that way you all can just get right on it. Sorry about that, everyone. But so my private league, it's going to be, again, you're going to be able to play with me, and you're going to be able to play with whoever joins the league. But here's why you want to join this league. So, taking a look here, with Sorare, they are offering for the first month, right? For the first month of this league, for each tournament, if you win that league, you will get a free subscription to MLB TV. That's not a bad reward if you ask me. I mean, my goodness. That is not bad at all. So MLB TV, I have MLB TV obviously. I got to be checking out all the games going on. But again, if you join my league and you win the league, then you will win that. So, real quick, let me just grab here the link. I don't know why this link was not here. Again, this is what happens when you're not here for a couple of weeks. So here we go. 1 second, everyone. All right, almost there. Okay, so the link is now there. The link is now there. So if you refresh and you click the description, you will find the link to my private league. So make sure to join, everyone. It's a good opportunity. If you are obviously a baseball fan then you obviously want MLB TV. Not a bad deal if you ask me. But again, just Sorare MLB. It's just been a really fun experience. I've really enjoyed it. I've been playing fantasy baseball for years. And, to me, fantasy baseball was getting a bit stagnant. So for there to be a different form of it out there, and I used to collect cards growing up, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, to me, like, this was like such a perfect combo of just, what I used to do as a kid growing up and obviously my love for baseball. So go check it out, everyone. Click the link in the description to get started to draft your team, and then click the other link in the description to join my league. Again, if you win the tournaments over the next month, you get a free subscription to MLB TV. So here we go. Let's get to the top 10. Let's get to the top 10 here. All righty. It feels good. It feels good to put this team at number 10. I'm going to be honest with you. I tried to hide my giraffe neck Robbie. I really tried. But to me, I don't see why you don't put the Red Sox in the top 10 right now. I actually thought about putting the Blue Jays in this spot, but the Red Sox are just playing good baseball lately. The Red Sox, here's the story with the Red Sox. Good offense, but the pitching is so up and down. I have never seen such an up and down pitching staff with the Red Sox in all of my years watching the Red Sox. This might be the most inconsistent starting pitching staff I have ever seen. It's nuts. Even go back to 2011. That pitching staff that year it was bad in the beginning and then it was really bad in the end. But they were good in the middle, right? You had Beckett and Lester and Lackey, but they completely melted down in the final month there. But this team, I don't get you get a great start from Sale, and then today Corey Kluber just gets absolutely pounded. I think Corey Kluber, I think you're gonna have to DFA the guy. I don't know, unless I think you should. Let me take that back. I think he should get maybe a couple more starts. He is a veteran. Kind of let him work through it. But I think Kluber knows that I think his time is ticking here. And I think he needs to get this back on track. His velocity was down last year, but it's really down now. So everything he's throwing, they look like meatballs. He's not getting that same weak contact that he was getting last year. He was getting a really, really, really weak contact with the Rays. But this year, it's just not. It's not there. He's just leaving meatballs over the plate. But another thing with Kluber too is he's walking a lot of guys. That's the weird thing with me, with Kluber, is because he's always been known as a guy to throw a ton of strikes. And this year, not really. I don't know. He's just walking a ton of guys. He had the bases loaded early on in this one today. Then he gave up the big hit to Odor. I don't know. Kluber, to me, I think his clock is ticking here. I think he's going to have to figure this out in the next couple games. Hopefully he can. I want Corey Kluber to do well. I really do. He's a guy I would love to have on this pitching staff. When you got a chance to have a veteran guy like him, it's great. But to me, he's got to be pitching. He can't just be going out here, 3 1/3, 4 innings, and giving up, 5 runs. It's just not working. Nick Pivetta came in after him. He looked all right, but I don't know. As for the Red Sox, they had a couple of DFAs, or they had one DFA. Ryan Brazier got DFA'd. Red Sox fans, I think, were celebrating in the streets when that happened. They gave him plenty of chances over the last couple of years. He looked really good at times, and I think that's why the Red Sox wanted to hang on to him, because he has good stuff. He just couldn't put it together, and he was getting rocked. I think Richard Blyer is a guy that could end up getting DFA'd at some point. I don't know. I think the Red Sox, they got to really figure out a recipe here for the pitching staff. It just feels you got some good pieces, Sale. Paxton has been looking really good in his first couple of starts. Bayo has been looking promising. Houck, he looks good in the first few innings there, 4 or 5 innings. He looks fine, but he has trouble going deeper into games. So I look at Tanner Houck right now as a 4 in the rotation. But I don't know. You're gonna have Whitlock back eventually. But to me, I think Whitlock is a guy. I don't know, man. We got spoiled with Garrett Whitlock in the bullpen a couple of years ago, and I can't, like, I don't know. Like, I understand why people want him in the rotation because you're maximizing his value. Listen, the guy's not going to have any value if he's injured. And to me, ever since he's gone into this rotation, he has been dealing with something. First, it was the hip. Then it's been something with the arm. He's been having some nerve problems. And it's like, I don't know, man. I think the bullpen was the right place for him. People say you got to maximize his value. He has none if he's not pitching. I don't know, man. He was pitching fine. He was pitching excellent a couple of years ago. Consistently, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think Garrett Whitlock needs to be in the bullpen. I'd love for him to be in the rotation if he can just stay healthy. Anyway, I'm rambling. But the Red Sox this week, they won both their series. They won 2 out of 3 against the Mariners, and they won 2 out of 3 against the Padres. They're a top 5 offense this year. Again, the pitching has good moments, but overall only 23rd in FIP. So they got to figure out something there. Devers, he's been hot lately. He homered twice against the Padres the other night. But in the end, I like this Red Sox team. I think there's a different vibe about this team this year than last year. They feel like, I don't know, it just feels like a better mix of guys this year. I don't know. You still got some really strong veterans, but you got some younger guys that are really stepping up for them. So, I don't know. It's just hilarious how I haven't heard one thing about, everyone who was going crazy over the whole Xander Bogaerts thing. I haven't heard one thing. Where are they? Where are they? Where are the people that were shouting from the hilltops that the Red Sox are going to be this terrible team and a terrible organization and a terrible franchise because they let Xander Bogaerts go? Yeah, would they be better with him? Yeah, they would, but they're still figuring it. They're figuring it out without him, right? I'm just saying, and they're not going to have a contract that's aging on their payroll in 5 years from now. So, sure, it would be great to have Bogaerts. It was great seeing him this past weekend, but the Red Sox, hey, look at the difference. The Red Sox, if you want to just look at records, they're doing better than the Padres right now. So, and a lot of facets, offensively, pitching. The Red Sox are a better team than the Padres right now. Will that end up being the case by the end of the year? Who knows? Only time will tell. But right now, the Red Sox, sure, Bogaerts would make them better, I think. I think they would have a couple more wins with Bogaerts, but I think they've been fine. I would love Bogaerts instead of Kike at short, but they've been all right. Here we go. I want to get into this one. Let's get into the Yankees at number 9. I got some energy for this one. I wanted to talk about this one tonight. I'm excited to talk about the Yankees here. All right, so where do I start with this Yankee team? Okay, so they've been playing good lately. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They won 4 straight. They swept the Reds. They won 3 out of 4 against the Blue Jays. There was this whole thing with Aaron Judge looking around. Like, I don't know if he was looking for a sandwich or whatever the heck he was looking for, but I don't know what it is. It seemed to help. I don't know. People saying he's cheating. I think the guy was just looking in the dugout because I think someone was yelling or something, and I think he was just looking. And everyone turned into this frenzy, like, oh, he's cheating. People were making YouTube videos, and it's like, the guy just can't look into the dugout for a second. Like, my goodness. And it's not against the rules to look at the base coaches. It's not against the rules. Yeah, it's kind of, maybe it's frowned upon, but either way, I mean, Aaron Judge, my goodness, the guy just like looked into the dugout and everyone just went crazy. It's like, that's how you know it's May, right? Because people are just looking for things to talk about, right? Anyway, so today, I actually have a lot to talk about with the Yankees. So Aaron Boone got ejected today. Aaron Boone just gets ejected like every single game. He leads the league in ejections over the last 3 years. So today, Jake Bauers, he caught a ball. he caught it in fair territory, but then it came out of his glove. He thought that he caught it in foul territory, so he didn't really make like a play. And anyway, so the Reds, so they ended up calling it a dead ball. The Reds challenged it, ended up being a fair ball. All right. So the Reds won the call. Aaron Boone came out. He started yelling, and then he got tossed. So that, whatever. That in itself is whatever. I need to say this. What can someone tell me what is the deal with Jake Bauers? Am I missing something? Like, I feel like I'm hearing Jake Bauers' name like way too much. Am I missing something with him? Is there something important about him that I've missed? I don't get it. Okay, let me just run through what I've seen with Jake Bauers so far this year. The first inning that he played with the Yankees, this guy ran like 100 miles an hour into a wall, and he like ran face first into it, and then he came out of the game. Okay, then he misplayed a ball in Tampa. He was like kicking the ball around in the outfield. He looked like Aaron Hicks, and I'll talk about him in just a second. And luckily, they got the guy out. I think they got Yandy Diaz. No, I think they thought they got Diaz out at home. No, he ended up being safe on that. Anyway, but so Bauers looked terrible out there. He's only hitting 184. Why am I seeing so much about Jake Bauers? I don't understand this. Why is he even playing? Why? Why are they really like that short on guys to play in the outfield right now? Like Jake, like what is up with this guy? He runs into a wall in his first inning as a Yankee, and he's just out of the game, kicking balls around the outfield. He has the play here today against the Reds. It's like this guy's always in the news, like with something. Like I don't know, I don't get it. Why is Jake Bauers on this team? Like I don't understand. Anyway, some more positive news. Luis Severino did make his debut today. 4 1/3 innings pitched, gave up a run, 5 strikeouts. So Luis Severino, that's definitely a welcome addition for the Yankees rotation. They've been having some injuries. Carlos Rodon is still nowhere to be found. I don't know about Carlos Rodon, man. Man, I'm about to rant about the Yankees, man. Like, and it's coming from a good place. Like when I'm ranting about the Yankees, it actually comes from a place of respect, right? Because we have gone to war with each other over the years, right? I have respect for the Yankees. I have respect for Yankee fans. Like to me, it was like hatred back like 20 years ago. Now it's like, at least to me, it is now, unless we're playing in the playoffs, then all right, it's gloves are off. But I have a respect for the Yankees. So where am I getting at here? So speaking of Carlos Rodon, I just need to rant about the Yankees here. Okay. Also, Domingo Germán got suspended. He had sticky stuff or whatever. I'm sorry, Domingo Germán, like I'm not going to sit here and call you names, but what are you doing, man? Domingo Germán, like you got caught with the whole thing with the Twins. There was like that whole thing that was going on, and then come on, dude. Oh, Domingo Germán. Aaron Hicks got designated for assignment. It's about time. I understand. The guy had some great moments with the Yankees. He had one of the most ridiculous catches that I've ever seen in my entire life. I think that probably broke his back. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I think that dude was still having some lingering issues from that catch that he made against the Twins. That was one of the best catches I think I've ever seen in my life. He had some clutch home runs, had some against the Astros in the playoffs. But, dude, Aaron Hicks has been washed for like 2 years. 2 years. Like maybe 3. Aaron Hicks, I understand they have the contract with him, but this guy should have been off the team last year. I'm sorry. Aaron Hicks has been awful, and he was so bad this year. This guy was like having so many problems in the outfield last year. There was one game this year where he practically just like gave up on the base paths because he thought he was out, but he didn't try to like run it down or like run out of the little pickle that he was in. I think it was against the Rays. I think they had like messed up on the play and he didn't realize it. And man, like it's just like Hicks, like, but that's the thing with the Yankees. They're like 2 years late on everything. They're 2 years late. They signed Carlos Rodon like 2 years after they should have signed another number 2 guy. Honestly, why didn't the Yankees go after Kevin Gausman? Like, what in the why? Why did the Yankees not sign Kevin Gausman? I mean, maybe he didn't want to go there. I don't know. The Yankees should have signed Kevin Gausman. I remember thinking that a couple of years ago. This is a guy, he'd be like a perfect number 2 guy for the Yankees, and then he ends up going to the Blue Jays. And now he's causing havoc, against all the teams in the American League East. You could have had that guy. I mean, the Yankees passed on so many guys. You passed on Verlander twice. Eduardo Rodriguez was a free agent. You could have traded for Luis Castillo. You could have traded for Pablo Lopez. And the guy that you sign is Carlos Rodon, which is fine, because on paper, I love Carlos Rodon, but I haven't even seen him. Where is he? He's not even pitching. He's not healthy. So you passed up all these guys to sign a guy that has been injury prone. He had two really good years. One really good year last year with the Giants. And he's nowhere to be found. You passed on all these dudes to go sign an injury-prone pitcher. You could have had Kevin Gausman 2 years ago. You could have traded for Luis Castillo. They were in the lead for Luis Castillo at one point. You couldn't give up any more prospects? I mean, come on. The Yankees are, in my opinion, they are just such, like, I don't get it. I don't understand this. It's weird because they're in my top 10 for the first time this year, but like they frustrate me so much. Like I just don't understand the way they run this organization. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. It's just anyway. Whatever. The Yankees are playing great. All right, even despite all of that. Also, there's another one. You let Garrett Whitlock come to the Red Sox. The Yankees, what do you... I don't know. But the Yankees have been playing good baseball lately. They have been just hitting the crap out of the ball. They're 5th in WRC+, 11th in FIP over the last 7. They're playing great. Aaron Judge is red hot. Over his last 7, he's hitting .444, 559 on base, a 1.074 slugging, 5 homers, 12 RBIs. Man, oh man. Wonder Davey, we had a super chat, $5 super chat. Cashman has been driving me so crazy with his decisions over the last few years. Dude, I know it's driving you crazy because I'm a Red Sox fan. I should be laughing at all of the decisions they're making. And it's like seeing like that, like, I don't know, like, it's like I'm trying to make an analogy here. What would be a good analogy? Like you had there was like a bully in high school, right? And this dude messed with you all throughout high school. You graduate high school, years down the road. You're living a good life. You got a good job. You got a family. And you see this bully who's just, the guy that bullied you. He's whatever. He's just not doing really much with his life and whatever. But it's like you can't, it's like you just feel bad, right? And it's like, what are you doing? Like, come on, dude. You used to give me wedgies, man. Like, what are you doing with your life? Like, come on. I don't know. I wouldn't be that guy to be like, oh, you deserved it. But I don't know. The Yankees are just like, they're so frustrating. So like Wonder Davey, I get it, man. My best friend is a Yankee fan. He tells me all the time, like he doesn't understand this team. So I don't know, man. The Yankees, it's like they're playing great. Aaron Judge is hitting the crap out of the ball. Anthony Rizzo's been hitting really well lately. But they also had some news this week, too. The Yankees, one of the most frustrating teams. Anyway, moving on. At number 8, we got the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are a fun team this year, man. I really like the Diamondbacks. They won 2 out of 3 against the A's and the Pirates this week after winning 3 out of 4 against the Giants last weekend. The Diamondbacks have been playing great baseball. Ever since the Mad Bum DFA, they are 7th in FIP. That whole pitching staff got better. addition by subtraction. Like, that is the best example of addition by subtraction I can come up with. Their offense has been great. 9th in WRC+. Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, Christian Walker, Gurriel Jr. They've all been hitting really well. It's a good lineup this year. Corbin Carroll homer today. Zach Gallen's been fantastic. Merrill Kelly's been solid. Bullpen, Chafin, Castro at the back. They've been really good. This Diamondbacks team is fun. I like this Diamondbacks team a lot. And yeah, I will toot my own horn a little bit. I have said for a while now, look out for this Diamondbacks team. I was saying it last year, even the year before that. They were coming, and here they are. This Diamondbacks team, I think they're going to be a wild card contender this year. I think they will win a wild card this year. I said that coming into the season. I really enjoy this Arizona Diamondbacks team. They're playing great baseball lately. Almost wanted to move them up a little bit, to be completely honest with you. Coming in at number 7, we got the Twins. I like this Twins team. There's not really a whole lot to say about the Twins. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers and the Angels this week, so they do drop a little bit. But to me, when you look at their numbers, like, their pitching is godlike. They have really good pitching. Their starting pitching, it's so good. And Joe Ryan has been really good over his last 3 starts. 18 innings pitched, 4 earned, 23 strikeouts over those 18 innings. He's been phenomenal. Joe Ryan has been so good. The offense lately, and here's the thing, the numbers look pretty good with the Twins. They're just not putting the wins there. But they're 2nd in WRC+. They're 7th in FIP over the last 7. Kyle Farmer's been red hot. Byron Buxton's been great. Larnack, Vasquez, they've been hitting well. The Twins are not really seeing the wins right now. Again, they lost both their series this week, so they do drop a little bit. I had them a little higher, I believe, before. But for the Twins, I think they're one of the better teams in the game. I think there is a debate that maybe the Diamondbacks could be ahead of the Twins because the Diamondbacks... You know what? I actually think I'm going to make an audible. I think I'm actually going to put the Diamondbacks a little ahead. I'm going to do that. Just because of the good weeks, I'm going to go Twins at 8. And I'm going to go Diamondbacks at 7. I like that better. So, but the Twins, I really like their pitching staff. They're just, again, the wins aren't quite there right now, like lately, but it's a good offense. Byron Buxton actually had a bit of a scare with his knee. It looks like he's going to be okay. He said he heard a pop in his knee. That's a little scary with Byron Buxton. Hopefully that doesn't turn into something. We'll have to keep an eye on that. But for me, I do like this Twins team, but I will make that change. I do think the Diamondbacks, now that I'm actually thinking about it, I'm going to put the Diamondbacks up a little bit higher here. So at number 6, the Astros have just been red hot. This Astros team is on fire right now. They swept the Cubs and the A's this week. Their offense this whole year has been really sluggish, but they just got Jose Altuve back, and the offense lately has been really good. Bregman, Tucker, Alvarez, they've been heating up like crazy. And with Jose Altuve back, I think this offense is going to start clicking now. He's their spark plug. Man. This is their guy that gets the game going. He gives them the energy. The Astros lineup feels like it's been missing energy this year. Jose Abreu has just been completely awful. Just send him to the sun. Oh, my goodness. But I think this Astros offense is really going to start clicking now. But the one thing that has been clicking with the Astros all year has been the starting pitching. 2nd in FIP on the year. Framber Valdez, a complete game shutout today. That dude is so good, man. Framber Valdez, when you got Framber Valdez, you have a shot at a championship. I'm sorry. Like, when you got that guy in the playoffs, dude, you got a shot. Like, he's so good. And then you got Javier behind him. Hunter Brown has been really good this year. Oh, this Astros team is good, and I think they're just getting started. I really do. I think they're going to start climbing up here. And then don't forget about the bullpen. Presley, Abreu, and Neris have been nasty. Oh, once this offense starts clicking, Be scared, everyone. Be scared of the Houston Astros. They're coming. At number 5, we got the Dodgers. I believe the Dodgers were at number... Were they at 5 last time? Or I might have had them at 3. I can't fully remember. But anyway, the Dodgers are at number 5. They won 2 out of 3 against the Twins, but then they lost 3 out of 4 against the Cardinals. So a bit of an up and down week for the Dodgers, but the numbers are looking really good. 7th in WRC+. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, they've been red hot. JD Martinez, Miguel Vargas, they've been hitting pretty solid lately. So the offense is fine. Here is where it gets a little dicey for the Dodgers, okay? The starting pitching has been pretty solid for the most part. They're 13th in FIP on the year, but they're 5th over their last 7. Clayton Kershaw has been really solid. Clayton Kershaw is just a madman. Like, that dude is just, he's healthy. Clayton Kershaw is so good. CRAS 951, Bobby Miller coming up Tuesday. It's Miller time. You beat me to it, man. You beat me to it. Lots of injuries right now for the Dodgers. Lots of injuries right now. Urias with a strained hamstring. We saw the whole thing with Dustin May with the elbow. Who knows how long he's going to be out. Hopefully it's not going to be too long. But Bobby Miller, top pitching prospect for the Dodgers. He's coming up. Gavin Stone, he's also going to be coming back up this week, make his second start in the major leagues. We are going to really see the depth of the Dodgers organization. And we're going to see if they can get this under control. This is a real test for the Dodgers, and this is where their deep farm system is going to come into play. Imagine if the Dodgers didn't have this farm system. They would be in such trouble, and that is why it's so important to have organizational depth. I can't stress it enough. It's so important for a major league team to win a championship. You need that depth. But the Dodgers, it's going to be really interesting to watch them this coming week. So, coming up next, we got the Texas Rangers. I love this Rangers team. I love it. Finally, people are starting to hop on the bandwagon with the Texas Rangers. I've been high on the Texas Rangers since week 1. I had the Rangers at number 3 in my week 1 power rankings. MLB.com, I think, had them out of their top 10. And I'm like, what the heck are these guys talking about? Like, these people write for Major League Baseball? Like, no one understands how good this Rangers team is? And, like, I've had them up high here forever. My goodness, like, so many people were so low on the Rangers. I'm like, why? Like, why are you so low on this Rangers team? Like, their offense is nuts. They have really good pitching. I think it's more of a thing where people just want to see it. But to me, I saw it from the beginning. I saw it in the offseason. Because the problem with the Rangers coming into this year was, could they actually put wins together, right? Because they had all these like really good-looking players. Jacob deGrom coming in. You brought in Evaldi. You brought in Heaney. You brought Perez back. It was a good-looking rotation, but could they stay healthy? That was the one thing with the Rangers, because they had a lot of injury risks. And then you had other guys in the lineup. Seager can be a bit of an injury risk a little bit. But when that lineup is clicking, it's one of the most scary lineups in the game. Like, it's a really good team. It's a great offense. It's one of the best offenses in the game. They're second in WRC plus on the year. Semien, Seager, Garcia. Adolis Garcia has been really good this year. I've been saying about Adolis Garcia, this is a guy that's like pretty underrated. This guy is really good. He had problems like getting on base and, he didn't really have a high batting average, but the guy always had a really solid slugging. He was going to hit home runs for you, driving runs. Adolis Garcia, man, that dude's nuts. Grossman, Duran, they've been hot. Speaking of Adolis Garcia, over his last 7 games, he's hitting .333, a .429 on base, a 1,000 slugging, 5 homers, 12 RBIs over his last 7 games. Adolis Garcia. Even though they haven't had Jacob deGrom, Nathan Evaldi has stepped up as an ace for them. John Gray has looked really good. Man, I really like... Yes, Miguel Marquez. Josh Young had a home run today. I love this Rangers team. I think it's really good. I saw the potential with this Rangers team coming into this year. I wasn't sure what you were going to see because you just didn't know about the health. But these guys are really clicking right now, and they're playing together, and it's a good-looking team. However, we do have some bad news. Kumar Rocker getting Tommy John. This was announced a few days ago. Again, I haven't been here, but that stinks, man, because he was actually looking, from what I had seen the last time I had seen him, looked like he was pitching pretty well, but looks like this is the end of the road, well, at least for now, for Kumar Rocker, one of their top pitching prospects. So he's going to be missing most likely 14 to 18 months. But and that was like a whole thing with him during the draft, right? Because there was the whole thing with the medical records. But it looks like now is the time where he's going to finally have to just go under the knife. And he's 23 years old. This guy, he is not going to need a lot of time in the minor leagues. And when his elbow is good to go, he's going to be good, man. I guarantee you he'll be in the rotation in the next 3 years, right? Give him the next, year and a half off. I think he'll need maybe 1 year, maybe in the minor leagues, maybe not even a full year. I think he's going to end up being in the major leagues pretty quick. I think he'll be up in the majors by the time he's 26. So, 25, maybe 25. We'll see. But sad news for Kumar Rocker. I was kind of hoping we would possibly see him this year, but I don't know. I love the Rangers. The Rangers are really good. Coming in at number 3, I hate putting this team here, but man, oh man, this Orioles team is so good. They're great. They're not quite there yet, though. I still think they need some pitching. I think they will do it at the trade deadline. I think they are going to go out there. I think they're going to go make some moves. I will bet they will go get a starting pitcher. I don't know who. I mean, man, if the White Sox are out of it, could they swing a deal for Dylan Cease if he gets himself right? That'd be pretty decent if you ask me. Dylan Cease on the O's, if he's back to being Dylan Cease. They got the prospects to get it done. Why not? Why not go after Dylan Cease if he's good? But as for the Orioles, good week. They split with the Angels, and then they sweat the Blue Jays over the weekend. Big extra inning win today. They're 8th in WRC plus on the year. Cedric Mullins has been red hot. 5 hits today. Cedric Mullins is so good. Over his last 7, he's hitting .370, a .414 on base, a .741 slugging, 2 homers, 7 RBIs. Santander, 3 home runs over his last 7. Adam Frazier's been hitting really well. Man, good offense with this Orioles team. It's a pesky, deep lineup. I would hate to go against this lineup. As for the pitching, like I'm saying, I still think they need some pitching if they really want to be a competitive team, but their pitching is getting it done. Dean Kramer, Ryan Bradish, Wells, they've been pitching really well lately. Bullpen is nasty. It's the best bullpen in the game. You got Batista and Cano at the back end. Cano really came out of nowhere this year. A really good team. Really like this Orioles team. I think they're a little bit better than the Rangers right now because of the bullpen. That bullpen is just nasty. The Rangers have a decent one. I just like the Orioles bullpen a little bit. The Rangers offense and starting pitching is really good. I like the Rangers starting pitching better, but I think the Orioles can just hang with the starting pitching. I think they can take on the Rangers. It's a good team, man. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's a top 3 team for me. I don't know. Is it AL East biased? I don't know. I just really like the way they look. I like their numbers. I just like the way they play. They're a tough team. They're having fun. I like this Orioles team. At number 2, we're winding down here. We got the Braves. And at number 1, we got the Rays. No change there. I will say, though, the Rays are starting to look... There's some cracks in the armor here. with the Rays. There's some cracks in the armor. But the Braves, I think they're starting to kind of catch their tails a little bit. The Rays, I think they're starting to catch the Rays' tails a little bit. They won 2 out of 3 against the Rangers this week and the Mariners. They're 3rd in WRC plus on the year. Ronald Acuna Jr. is a machine. Hey, give Ballcap Sports credit because this guy, he said flat out, Ronald Acuna Jr. is going to win the MVP this year. Listen, I remember we were talking about it. It was me, Ballcap, Wardy, and Mike from Stark Raving Sports. We were talking about it, and I was saying, I remember, I'm like, yeah, I could see Ronald Acuna Jr. being like a 5 or like 6 like wins above replacement, like a really good player, I didn't see this. And Jim saw it, man. Give him credit. He saw an MVP year. He is nuts right now. Ronald Acuna Jr. on the year is hitting .344, a .431 on base, a 1.031 slugging, 11 homers, 27 RBIs, 18 stolen bases. Ronald Acuna Jr., he's nuts. In his last 7, he's hitting .357 with a 1240 OPS, 4 homers. It feels like every time, like I always get updates from MLB.com and like scores and stuff. I feel like I get a notification every single night that Ronald Acuna Jr. hit a home run or like something. It's like every night this guy is doing something. It's nuts. Yeah, dude, Dr. I love this name, Dr. Slick Nuts, one of our members. He almost has 20 stolen bases already. And dude, he's crazy. Like, could you imagine if he's like got 40, 50? Man, it's like Barry Bonds territory right there. But the Braves, besides Ronald Acuna Jr., are really good. Olsen and Riley, they've been solid. Arcia's been hitting well. The pitching is actually really holding it together without Max Fried. Spencer Strider, Bryce Elder, Charlie Morton, they're holding it down. They need some more depth, though, man. The Braves need depth. They need depth. Bullpen's been huge. That's been a big key for the pitching. They've been getting by. They're figuring it out. Really like this Braves team. If they can just get some more depth, I think it's going to be huge. And then the Rays at number 1. Not really much else to say here. They won 2 out of 3 against the Brewers, but they lost 2 out of 3 to the Mets. So, again, we're starting to see some cracks with the Rays. They're 1st in WRC plus on the year. They're 3rd in the last 7. Isaac Paredes, Harold Ramirez, Brandon Lau, they've been hitting well lately. The problem with the Rays lately has been the pitching. They're 7th and 5th overall with the starting pitching and relief pitching, but they're 24th in the last 7. The starting pitching has actually been pretty decent. They're 11th over the last 7, but the bullpen is dead last. The bullpen has been really struggling for the Rays. They did have Taj Bradley come back recently. It looks like he's going to be here to stay this time. But the Rays bullpen, they need something there because they're not getting it done. So either way, though, the Rays, the numbers look great. It's a really good-looking team. What else is there to say? But we do have some other news with the Rays. I wanted to leave this for last because I think it's just a fun story. Here we go. SoundFX09 with a super chat coming in hot. $10 super chat. Braves still at number 2. Checks out. We've beaten 2 AOS teams, but the brutal homestand continues. 3 versus LAD and 4 against the very team that kicked us out of the NLDS. PHI. Time for revengeance. SoundFX, your super chats are always like my favorite because I always love how you emphasize certain words. So they're always like really fun to read. SoundFX, man, you're awesome. Yeah, the Braves. Hey, you know me, man. You know, I've been a long-time supporter of the Atlanta Braves. Remember 2 years ago, I'm supporting the Braves all the way through in the second half. Man, a good team. Really good team. You know, they're having a couple of bumps here. Michael Harris is struggling this year, but what else is there to say? I mean, they're really good. They just got to get Max Fried healthy, man. Hopefully he's good to go. But let's see what they can do this coming week. SoundFX, you're awesome, man. You're awesome. The Undertaker is here. The trade deadline deals will change a few things, says The Undertaker. Oh, man. We got an appearance from the Phenom himself. My goodness. Rest in peace. Here we go. The Rays. Very interesting news lately. Danny Trejo, Rays to North Dakota. Could you imagine the Rays go to North Dakota? So Ken Rosenthal, he reported on The Athletic today. So I wrote my notes here that the team is actually looking at possibly selling the team, or selling the organization. Jimmy Productions, $1.99. Should the Nats trade Meneses? No Astros, Yankees in the playoffs. I think they should if he's doing well. Yeah, sure, why not? No, I got to disagree with that one. Astros and the Yankees. I think the Astros and the Yankees will find a way. I think the Astros more likely will get in than the Yankees, but we'll see. So, thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate that. As for the Rays, so there is someone out there that has looked into possibly buying the Rays. His name is Dan Doyle Jr. He is the CEO of Dex Imaging, a Tampa-based company that professes to be the nation's largest independent provider of office technology with a local touch. Oh, you gotta like that. But he's been involved in real estate. He's been involved in other business ventures out in St. Petersburg. They tried reaching him. Oh, I gotta be logged in. Hold on. Let me log in. Come on, The Athletic. Here we go. So, he is someone to keep an eye out for that he's interested in buying the Rays. So, the problem with the Rays is that they've had just trouble finding a deal for a new stadium, whether that's in St. Petersburg, whether that's in Tampa. They've just been having trouble getting the investments, getting the money together, and they're just not really, it has not been looking promising. However, there seems to be some movement in a possible new stadium exactly where the stadium is now, right? In St. Petersburg, where Tropicana Field is now. They're looking at possibly just demolishing Tropicana Field and just building a brand new stadium in the same exact spot. So, however, the problem is that the Rays would rather move to Tampa because the city itself, you're just going to have more opportunities being in the city of Tampa. Because when you're out in St. Petersburg, it's past Tampa. Traffic is just awful. Go after work during the week. So I think they want to be in the city just because it's just going to be easier for people to get to. You're probably going to have just more sponsorship opportunities, just being in the city of Tampa. It just sounds like a better opportunity just being in Tampa rather than St. Petersburg, which is 20, 30 minutes away. So, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the Rays here. But I thought once I saw this, and that's another one, Brock, better attendance as well. I think just simply people in Tampa, it's going to be easier to get to the stadium, right? St. Petersburg is really annoying trying to get to the stadium because you got to go through Tampa, you got to go through the exits and whatnot. It always gets backed up. It's just a pain, man. But if you go to Tampa, it's so much sooner than St. Petersburg. It's, St. Petersburg is just kind of like this. It's not a bad area, but it's just very I don't know. I don't want to call it a dump, but it's not great navigating around there. And it's just ugh. I don't know. I think the Rays want to be in Tampa, so that's why they're hesitant on just going forth with a new stadium in St. Petersburg. I think they're going to end up being in Tampa, personally. I just don't. I don't know. It makes the most sense. You'd have you'd have football, you'd have your hockey, you'd have your baseball all right there. Just get it done. I don't understand, man. I really don't get it. So. Matt. A Tampa Stadium always opens the Orlando market for potential ticket sales. That too, because you're not very far away from Orlando either. I know for a fact I will be going to Tampa a lot. Going to St. Petersburg, it just makes it that much more of a trek. It's not that it's really that much far. It's just getting through all the traffic. And it's just not great. I think they're going to go to Tampa eventually. We'll have to see how this goes. Could they end up selling the team? If there is no opportunity to go to Tampa, I wonder what would they rather do? Would they rather just build in St. Petersburg, or would they just rather sell the team? I don't know. I wonder. I think that's an interesting concept. I mean, I'm not a businessman by any means, but I wonder if there's debate over that, whether or not you'd rather just stay in St. Pete or just sell the team. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know anything about business, but let's keep our eyes on this. But as for the power rankings, the Rays are the number 1 team. Everyone, I'm out of here. Those are my power rankings for this week. Some of the spots looked a little weird. Some of the spots were, the Cardinals at number 12. I think that was a bit of a shock. Having the Cardinals ahead of the Brewers, even though the Brewers are ahead in the standings. We did have a couple super chats in here. Theorpo, I don't know if he did my hot take, but Altuve, Hall of Fame. I think we'd have to see a bit more out of Altuve. Altuve's had a really underrated career. So I think I'd need to see a bit more out of Jose Altuve personally. Jimmy Productions, Nats in the playoffs in 2024 or 25. I'll say 25. They're not quite there. And don't forget, they're going to be, they're trying to sell the franchise itself. So I think that's going to be something too. So Danny, anything is better than playing at the Trop. I will say, I don't mind the AC at the Trop. I don't mind it. Hey, cheap seats. Man, my friend just went to a game not too long ago for like $10. That's a great deal. What a deal. Going to a game for $10. Not bad. But, yeah, I mean, it is a pretty bad stadium. But, I don't know. I like to look for the bright side of things. I like AC. I like cheap tickets. Not bad if you ask me. So, everyone, I'm out of here. Thank you for stopping by for Power Rankings. I really appreciate that. Don't forget about tonight's sponsors. We have Sorare MLB. Click the link in the description below to draft your team. And then once you draft your team, click the other link and join my league. You can win a subscription to MLB TV. Why would you not join the league? Why would you not give yourself a chance to just win a free subscription to watch baseball for the whole year? Not a bad deal if you ask me. But don't forget about our sponsor as well with BLEAV. Use the code BLEAV. You get a 50% welcome bonus. So whether you're betting on baseball, basketball, football, whatever it is, BetOnline, your number 1 source for all your sports betting needs. Don't forget about SeatGeek. Use my code Hyde, HYDE. Get $20 off on your first purchase. Is that all? I think that's all I got, everyone. Thank you for stopping by tonight, everyone. I'll be live probably Wednesday night this week. I'll be doing some more hot takes. So think about some good hot takes. Think about some juicy ones. Juicy hot takes. I need the best hot takes that you got. Start thinking about them. I'll probably post a couple of little forum things on the community tab on the channel. I'll post on Twitter as well. Follow me on Twitter. I'm talking baseball over there as well. Follow me at Ginger Snap Hyde. Follow me on Twitter. Everyone, have yourself a good week. It is my last week of school until summer vacation, everyone. I can smell it. We're almost there, everyone. One more week. Have yourself a great night, everyone. Have yourself a good week. And be back here next week for Power Rankings. I'm sure they're going to be even more chaotic next week. Have yourself a good night, everyone. And I'll talk to you next time.